You know, we're often taught that managing money is all about math, right? Spreadsheets, complicated formulas. But what if I told you that being good with money has way less to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you behave? Today, we're diving into the brilliant ideas from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. Let's just kick things off with this quote because it really sets the stage. Napoleon said, "A genius is the man who can do the average thing when everyone else around him is losing his mind." And that right there, that's the whole ballgame. Financial success isn't about being some kind of Wall Street wizard. It's about keeping your head on straight, especially when everyone else is panicking. So, to see this whole idea in action, let's get into a real-life story. It's a story that seems to defy all logic, and it features two very, very different men. Okay, on one side, you've got Ronald Reid. He was a janitor and a gas station attendant, lived a quiet life in rural Vermont. And on the other side, Richard Fuscone, Harvard-educated, a top executive at Merrill Lynch, making a ton of money with a super fancy career in finance. You think you know where this is going, right? But this is where the story gets crazy. When Ronald Reid, our janitor, passed away at 92, he secretly left behind an $8 million fortune. Yeah, $8 million. Most of it he just donated to his local hospital and library. His friends, his family, nobody had a clue. They were absolutely stunned. Meanwhile, Richard Fuscone, the brilliant executive living in this massive mansion that cost $90,000 a month just to maintain, he declared bankruptcy during the 2008 financial crisis. He lost everything. So this just begs the question, how on earth does a janitor with zero financial training end up so much better off than a top-tier finance expert? How is that even possible? Well, the answer isn't buried in some complex financial report or stock chart. It's actually found in a pretty simple but incredibly powerful idea. This is the core of what Morgan Housel calls the psychology of money. It's this idea that finance isn't a hard science like physics with all these rigid laws. It's a soft skill. It's psychology. It's way less about what you know and way more about how you act. So here's the bottom line. Ronald Reid was patient. He just saved and invested consistently for decades. Richard Fuscone was greedy. He took on massive debt to fuel his lifestyle. That simple difference in their behavior, not their IQ, explains absolutely everything. Okay, so this whole idea of behavior, it really breaks down into three key concepts that separate the wealthy from, well, everyone else. Survival, luck, and knowing how to see the unseen. First up, survival. Listen, getting wealthy and staying wealthy are two totally different skills. Just look at the legendary trader Jesse Livermore. Back in 1929, he made what would be $3 billion today by betting against the market. A genius move. But that success made him reckless. He kept making bigger and bigger bets until, poof, it was all gone. He was a master at getting rich, but he couldn't master the art of survival. Second, we have got to talk about luck. Think about Bill Gates. As a teenager back in 1968, he got access to a high school computer. That was so incredibly rare, it was literally a 1 in a million shot. Without that piece of pure luck, Microsoft as we know it might not even exist. But here's the thing about luck. It's got a dark twin called risk. For every Bill Gates, there's a Kent Evans. Kent was Gates' best friend. Just as smart, just as driven. They were going to take on the world together. But Kent died in a mountaineering accident before they even graduated. Same talent, same drive, but a tragic, unlucky outcome. It's a powerful reminder that our results are never, ever 100% in our control. And third, we have to understand this thing called the man in the car paradox. You've done this, right? You see someone drive by in a Ferrari, and you don't think, wow, that person driving is so cool. No, you think, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. See the difference? We use other people's stuff as a benchmark for our own desires, but we admire the stuff, not the person. This gets to the absolute core of the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is your current income. It's what you see, the fancy cars, the big houses. It's money being spent. But wealth is what you don't see. It's the money that's not spent. It's the savings and investments,
quietly growing, buying you options, flexibility, and real freedom. Okay, so if wealth isn't about showing off with expensive toys, then what's the point? What is the single greatest return that your money can possibly give you?
The answer is control. Simple as that. Control over your own time. Every single dollar you save is like buying a piece of your future self back. A little bit of savings means you can take a sick day without stressing. A little more means you can get through a layoff and find a job you actually want, not just one you need. And eventually, you get enough to earn the ultimate prize, waking up in the morning and saying, I can do whatever I want today. And this all boils down to one simple, powerful concept: knowing when you have enough. There's this fantastic story about the author Joseph Heller. A friend points out that some hedge fund manager at a party probably made more in one day than Heller made from his masterpiece, Catch-22, in his entire life. And Heller's response? Yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough. Wow. That kind of peace of mind is just priceless. And that brings us right here to the final thought. The single most important financial question you can ever ask yourself isn't about which stock to pick or what the market's going to do next. It's about defining your own game. It's about looking in the mirror and asking, what is my money actually for? Is it to show people how much you have, or is it to buy your own freedom? The answer to that question will change every financial decision you ever make.